Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of Man, We're Too Old for This, here on the Nerd Eternal Network. I'm your host, the experience that some call Jason, and with me as usual is...
The token sarcastic silence, Tarky.
The Todd Father, who should be out of Facebook jail by the time you...
And CDO 113.
And today is kind of a follow-up to the X-Men fan casting we did. We're going to fan cast the Fantastic Four. Because that's another property that Marvel Studios has recently gotten back under their umbrella.
About time.
Yeah, I really want to see them take a shot at this movie. Fox has bumbled and kind of fumbled it. Through...
3 flicks.
Yeah, it's been 3.
Yep, they've had 3 chances. They managed to F up damn near every one of them. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Though I like most of the cast they had in the first one.
I like the cast for the first one. The first one is actually the best movie because two had the best trailer, but the movie itself is crap.
Mm-hmm.
And then 3 was I'm not as hard on 3 as a lot of people are because it ain't like they dropped a whole hell of a ways from 2. They just basically went, we're gonna make this shit dark.
Yeah.
Okay.
But anyway, so...
Thing needed pants.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Everybody
Pants.
pants.
You savage.
So we're just going to go down the list of the main team and, and then we can fill in villains and side characters as time allows. So starting off with Mr. Fantastic, or Senor Fantastico, as they call him in Spanish-speaking countries.
Do they? Hold time out. Do they?
Actually, I believe they do.
Okay. Like I wouldn't put it as impossible. I just don't know.
As opposed to Deadpool, who over in Spain is Senor Slaughter or something like that. Because Deadpool is not a word that translates, because it's kind of a... Anyway.
They would be calling him Dead Water, and that doesn't fit.
Yeah, well, it doesn't mean the same thing, because it's kind of a figure of speech. Anyway.
Yeah.
Fantastic Four. Danny, who have you got for Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic?
I've got Tom Paine, Prodigal Son and Walking Dead actor. He was Jesus on The Walking Dead.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. When
Your mistake from last week haunts you, Jason.
Yes. On The Walking Dead, as Jesus, he had really, really long hair, where on The Prodigal Son, they've got it cut really short and no facial hair. And he's just got that lanky, physical build.
You look like a spaz. Come on.
Yeah, and he comes, he's the character on Prodigal Son, very intelligent. And so I thought, I can see him as Mr. Fantastic.
I've only seen him in Walking Dead, but I did like him in that. And as far as his build and stuff, yeah, I can definitely see him looking like Stretch. So who have you got, Todd?
Well, for my first 2, I went with low-hanging fruit. Because everybody named Mama wants John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic. He's from A Quiet Place. The minute I say his name, most people that are kind of nerds, they'll immediately go, yep. Because, that. And I think Marvel, unlike when we did the X-Men, we were going, nobody's picking these. I think Marvel actually wants Krasinski and his wife to be the Richards. Because when fans start casting Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic, they change the way Mr. Fantastic looks to look like Krasinski.
Yeah,
that's where the beard came from.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, I went totally low-hanging fruit. That one, I couldn't come up with nobody better, so I said, fuck it, let me join the crowd.
So who is your pick for the Invisible Woman then, Todd?
His wife, Emily Blunt. Again, low-hanging fruit. That's Edge of Tomorrow, in case somebody's listening to this that doesn't know who in the hell Emily Blunt is.
Thank you.
Yeah. She was, what'd they call her? She was the one that basically had the ability that Cruz had earlier.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about, but I can't remember what character.
I forget what in the hell that title they had for her, where she was,
She was their big badass.
yeah, she was the badass. So you know she can do action. She's in A Quiet Place and A Quiet Place 2. She looks like stuff. She looks like Sue. They're actually a married couple, so you kind of have that energy going. So yeah, I can't do better. I didn't try to do better. I defy somebody to come up with something better.
Danny, who you got?
I've got Emily Osment. She was on the sitcom Young and Hungry, and then in a movie called Almost Family, or a TV show called Almost Family. She's a little blonde, like when you first see Sue in the comic book, cute little blonde. That's what she is. She is just.
The one reason why I didn't go with one reason why I went with these two, not just because that was real popular. I wanted to stay away from Reed and Sue in the books because that was some creep shit.
Yeah.
Because she was mad young and he was good and grown.
Yeah.
So I was like,
Well, see, this Emily Osment, she's in her 20s. And, Tom Payne, I think he's in his 30s. So their age is still close enough to that, young couple that, hey, it fits.
It's kind of
almost.
It's kind of like we could go with Danny's casting if you were doing a origin movie and this is them fairly young.
Yeah.
Or if you want to do them where they've already got their kids, you might go more with Todd's casting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I went with, because I figure the way they're going, I'd be shocked if they go with an origin story. Fantastic. I got kind of the feeling that when you meet the Fantastic Four in Marvel, they're gonna probably already be the Fantastic Four. I don't think, because if you notice, even toward the end, there Marvel has started kind of pulling away from just the origin.
Yeah.
You still ain't seen an origin for Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Doctor Strange was an origin movie, and Captain Marvel was an origin movie.
But Black Panther, yeah, he was Panther the first time you seen him.
Mm-hmm. And they can always introduce the FF in his next movie or somebody else's movie.
Yeah.
See, that's the kind of thing. Everybody's jonesing for Storm in Black Panther 2. If it was me in charge of shit, no, I'd introduce the Fantastic Four in Black Panther 2 just to have that synergy.
Yeah. Storm could be like that little cameo at the end.
Because actually, if you go in like best friends, yeah, Mr. Fantastic and T'Challa are close.
Yeah.
They both got the brain thing going on.
Yeah.
And you had the thing when T'Challa got his King of the Dead stuff from Bast. Yeah, Bast basically says that they were connected by a bond, and Mr. Fantastic is going, "This is my brother." They are close. If you read Secret War, they are mad close. They are close like Human Torch and Spidey.
Yeah.
Mm. Speaking of the Human Torch, we'll start off with Todd this time. Who have you got for the Human Torch, Todd?
That's where I went with Zac Efron, because he's got the build. You got the he tends to play kind of the ladies' man type roles, and he's younger than Blunt, so you'll still have the little brother thing. My picks with Human Torch and Thing was where shit got kind of weird, because it was like, because Efron was not my first choice, but the guy that I had there first, I was like, this cat in reality is actually older than the Invisible Woman, and you got to have that older sister vibe.
Yeah.
And you wanted to have somebody, but you still want somebody young enough to be immature to be screwing around with Ben.
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of the thing, is you didn't want Torch to be, because I also thought about, if you're gonna have the friendship with Spidey and him, then I want somebody closer to Tom Holland's age, but by that same token, you don't actually want like a little kid around there. So Efron was my kind of in between. That kind of gave me everything I want. He's young enough and looks young enough that if you put him with Tom Holland, you could see them being buddies, especially since they had him booed up with Mysterio. You could see them kind of being buddies. You could see Torch kind of being the older hero, because which Torch was in the books.
Yeah.
He was the more experienced. So you could kind of have that. You kind of had the ladies' man. He's in between the ages of My Invisible Woman and Thing, but he's close enough that you could see him being kind of that asshole, still playing practical jokes.
Mm-hmm. So, Danny, who did you get?
For Human Torch, I picked Chandler Riggs. You know, Walking Dead and
you picked Carl.
Yeah, I picked Carl. The reason I did that is like Todd was making the comment about Spider-Man. You got to have somebody where, you know, there's only like a year or two difference in them or something like that. And then you also got to have something. Johnny has to be younger than Sue. Emily Osment is older than Chandler Riggs. So you've got that, you know, couple of years difference between them that works. And then Chandler Riggs, it's, you know, his age is, you know, just a little, you know, slightly different than him. But you have that physicality that works. And his age also works for my choice with how him and Thing interact for the actor I picked for him.
I'm having a hard time picturing no Chandler blonde though.
Coral. I swear to God, I'd be screaming Coral the whole damn movie. Coral.
Well, you know, if you look back to the Johnny Storm where Chris Evans played him, he wasn't dark-headed. He was still kind of, or, you know, wasn't completely blonde like you see him in the books. He was still kind of brown-headed.
Yeah. Evans went blonder as he went Captain America. He wasn't, well, that was even my problem with Efron is, yeah, they're going to have to dye some hair.
Yeah.
You know, and highlights will take care of a lot of that. And then CGI will be the rest when he's on fire.
Yeah. You're going to have to dye some hair, but trust me, I kind of looked at it and said, well, considering the fandom completely ate shit with Michael B. Jordan, they'll overlook some fucking hair. Well, at least he's white this time. White Johnny Blaze. Because I'm a fan.
Johnny Storm.
Nah, I said that on purpose.
Yeah, that's right. They did.
That was an actual quote, yeah.
That was an actual quote.
Yeah, that was.
So, Danny, who have you got for the Thing? If I can talk.
Derek, I want to say his last name is Theler, Theler. He played on the sitcom Baby Daddy and on the TV show called 68 Whiskey.
My God, you watch some weird ass fucking TV because I ain't never heard of this shit.
He's on Baby Daddy. He was like the younger brother, but he was the tallest one. He was big, and his character played hockey.
Mm-hmm.
And when you saw him, you know, all the to him because he was so big. And even on 68 Whiskey, he plays a private military contractor. He's huge, so it's like even just as plain old Ben Grimm, he will physically work. Yeah. And then when they CGI him, which they will of course do, he'll look even, you know, bulkier. So, and he's got that way that Ben will cut up and kid around with people. He did that a lot on the sitcom that he was on, and even in 68 Whiskey, when he needs to be a badass, he's got that kind of thing. And the character on 68 Whiskey boxes, so that fighting style that Ben tends to, you know, that brute force kind of thing, he already has that. So
cool. Todd, who did you pick?
I picked WWE's Brock Lesnar. Really, for a lot of the same reason. Brock's a big dude, and Ben needs to look like he was kind of a jock, muscular kind of thing. The downside to Lesnar.
So, wait, hold on. If you picked Lesnar, who's going to be the voice?
That's where I was going. And that's literally just about what I was about to say.
Yes, but if I don't chip in now with that, I don't get to say a thing this episode.
Oh, well.
I have to dive on my moments, Todd.
The problem with Lesnar is his voice. Lesnar does have kind of a squeaky ass voice. The trick is if you watch the fan 4 stick, that last one that they did. Yeah, old boy playing Grimm he was literally a kid, so he ain't got the manliest voice on the planet. But once he became the Thing, they changed the shit. So let Ben have Lesnar's kind of Mike Tyson-y squeaky voice, because once he's the Thing, which is what he's gonna be 99% of the damn movie. Yeah. Then you do some dubs over it. Hell, if they can make Christian Bale sound like he's got throat cancer, they made Ray Park sound like Darth Maul, because that ain't his voice. The only one of those movies, popular movie that Park did where they actually used his actual voice was Toad.
Yeah.
Toad is how Ray Park actually sounds. Darth Maul was somebody else. So I figure for the small amount of time that Lesnar's actually been Grim, that's fine. And look at what you get from it. You get somebody with the size. So even once because things gonna have to be CGI. Yeah. But once you put that on him, Lesnar's got the physicality that you could actually have a thing that can fight.
Mm-hmm.
Because he is both a wrestler and MMA, so it would be neat to see Thing actually get his hands on something and grapple.
Yeah, well, that's like the guy that I picked. Like I said, in 68 Whiskey, he plays a military contractor who also boxes on the side to win money for his group. They doing bets, and his voice is already kind of deep, so you wouldn't have to worry about hiring a voice actor or screwing with it.
But that's the trick. Once he's the Thing, he shouldn't sound like he sounds.
Yeah.
He literally should. Hell, even when they did Vic Mackey, when he's the Thing, he don't sound the same as he does when he's
yeah.
So Thing is just one of them you're gonna have to spend some money on it, and they can because hell, look at Van Forstic. Hell, he's literally CGI and pantsless.
Yeah.
Most of the damn movie.
All right, well that gets us through the main cast then. So let's hit a few of the FF's villains. We're just doing odd smattering here since. Let's see here. Todd, pick a villain and go with it.
Well, the villain I picked was the Mole Man for the first one. And I picked Elijah Wood, who is Frodo from the Lord of the Rings movies. And before you go, oh my God, he picked Frodo. If you've ever seen the first Sin City, that bastard can play creepy.
Yes.
He played creepy as hell and never said a damn word.
Yeah.
And the Mole Man and Elijah Wood is another one of those characters like when we do the X-Men, he's teeny. Elijah Wood's like 5'4" or some shit like that. The Mole Man needs to be a little creepy bastard.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course you're going to have to put some prosthetics and shit on him. But the man has shown he can play creepy as hell without him really speaking. And I figured my first Fantastic Four, I would go along with kind of a variation of their first tale. Because I would like for the Fantastic Four to be the main focus of the first movie. So you get to know them before you start adding the more popular villains. It's going to take the spotlight away from them. Yeah. And the Mole Man gives you, it's a little different. Because they'd be fighting monsters. And truthfully, it would flow into the MCU formula where they do the Kung Fu thing where you have like the main boss, but you fight like a million different fucking nameless underlings. Well, you got the Moloids and the Subterraneans and the monsters from Monster Island and all this kind of shit that they can fight. And the Mole Man's not the kind of villain that's going to take the spotlight away from them. Yeah. Let them be the focus of the first movie and just give them, one of their B-listers to fight so they have something to do. Yeah. So that was my pick, Mole Man. With Frodo. You on here?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we were just enraptured.
Clearly.
It's the way you should be. Because that was brilliant casting.
All right, so Danny. Let me see. Who have you got on your list here?
Pick from page 2.
Let's go with the Submariner, because that's a character I'd really like to see show up.
Yeah, I thought, okay, if he needs to show up as, an antagonist. I picked Scott Adkins. He played an Ip Man and Avengement, or Ip Man 4 and then Avengement. He's a martial artist. When I look at him, I go, that dude could play, Submariner. He's just got that.
That dude could play damn near any kind of damn hero he wanted to.
Yeah.
Beating the hell out.
But he's got that lean jaw that you associate with Submariner when you see him. I've seen him in a flat top before in another movie he did, and all you got to do is put him in, one of Submariner's outfits and add the wings to his feet, and he's good to go.
The only thing that you're going to have pushback about that is the current fandom is really wanting Submariner to be Asian. And I can see why, because, he looks like it. If I wasn't doing that, even though I didn't cast him, Jason knows, there is only one human that looks more like Namor than any fucking human I've ever seen in life, and that's Sam Witwer.
Yeah, he does too.
Witwer looks more like Namor than any actual person I have ever seen in my life. We sat in the mist basically going, sweet God in heaven, that dude looks like Namor.
Yep.
Jesus Christ.
And if you haven't seen The Mist, he was also the Secret Apprentice in the Force Unleashed games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a secret apprentice. He was, what was the thing they did it was something human. Being human.
Yeah, being human. He was the vampire.
He was vampire.
Yeah.
I never did watch
He was
that.
Doomsday in Smallville.
Yeah.
Yeah, that Whitwer is freakishly looking like him.
Yeah, he does good as a character actor. And the more the more you give him a chance to make that character his own, like the vampire, in Being Human was supposed to be based, like, okay, this is his personality, this is this, and he's like, can I try something? And they were filming, and they're like, yeah, roll with that, because he brought his character was supposed to have been alive for several hundred years, and it's like, you're wanting me to be like, I just became a vampire yesterday. Like, no, guy's got world experience, not just I've been around the block. He's been around the world, so he needs to have
I've been around the world,
and so he knows how to make a character come across.
That was off the top of my head just because you said Namor. Anytime somebody says Namor, I kind of go, Whitwer? I know he's getting old, man, but damn.
It would work if he's supposed to have been around at World War II.
Yeah, but he's supposed to look. And that's the trick. They fucked around with Namor so long, Whitwer done got old.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's that bad off, but okay, Danny, we were talking about we were talking about Mole Man earlier, which is kind of one of your classic FF villains, because I guess you could say he was the original FF villain, but Puppet Master was another one of their classics.
Yeah, for Puppet Master, I thought Paul Blackthorne. He played on the Arrow, and then he played
Dresden.
Harry Dresden in the Dresden Files. He's another actor to me that when he takes on a role, he becomes that character. It's not like he's Paul Blackthorne playing somebody. He's actually that character, because when he plays the dad on the Arrow, Canary Girls, you actually believe he's the dad. And it's like,
I could see him as Puppet Master, truthfully.
The actress that I picked for Alicia Masters, Ben's girlfriend, is Chelsea Kane. She's another actress that played on Baby Daddy and a bunch of other Disney shows. She's got that dark complexion like he does. It's just one of those things of, you could see this would be his daughter, and she not realizing he's a bad guy. It was a good fit for me.
Was Alicia his daughter or his niece?
I think she was his niece.
Yes.
I think he raised her.
Still hurt.
I think he raised her.
He raised her.
Yeah, that's right. He raised her. Was his niece.
He was our uncle.
But
Danny's lost all cred now. Geek cred gone.
Excuse me. But that was my pick for the Puppet Master, was him and the niece. Because
I like how he says that with vitriol in his voice, with his niece. You and your damn fat.
One of my other choices for a villain from the face off against was the Mad Thinker and his androids.
He was on your second page, Danny. I don't have a picture of him.
Well, excuse me.
But if you want to earn some geek cred back for getting the niece thing wrong, who's your pick for Roberta?
For my pick for Roberta, Susan, I'm going to spell her last name, Bloommmaert. She was on the Blacklist and John Wick 3.
And for those of you going, who the crap is Roberta, which is going to be pretty much all of you. Roberta is the android receptionist that the FF have had in their building for years. Basically, she looks like a woman from the waist up, or from the waist down. I think she's attached to the floor or on wheels. I forget.
Yeah, she's attached to the desk. She's actually attached to the desk, to the thing. So if you move the desk, you move.
So Danny took this super obscure character, and so
And
that earns him a little geek cred back. Now, go into why you picked her out, Danny.
Well, on the blacklist, she plays a character named Mr. Kaplan. It's kind of like a pseudonym for, you find out what her real name is, but she starts going by Mr. Kaplan because when she was young, the love of her life, this girl, gets killed. And everybody assumes, she puts the word out that Mr. Kaplan is looking for revenge. And so she just becomes known as Mr. Kaplan because she'll pop a cap in somebody in a heartbeat on that show.
So it's really Mr. Kaplan. Carry on. I apologize.
But she just, she has that, she can come across as sweet as sugar, and then the next minute, okay, you got to die. And Roberta, when you see her, she's this nice, cordial, polite,
Unless you're breaking in.
Unless you're breaking in, and then it's like, yeah, those protocols pop in, and she's ready to take out the neighborhood.
Killbot must kill.
Yep. So I thought, I can see her being it because, she can come across as just sweet as all get out. But the minute you've, crossed that line, no. Kid gloves are off.
Another one you chose to cast that puzzled me was Herbie. But I like your choice of who you cast for Herbie, so we'll bring Herbie up.
I picked Alan Tudyk. I don't know how you say his last name.
Tudyk,
but from Firefly.
Tudyk. Wash.
Yeah, Wash from Firefly. And
my all-time favorite Star Wars droid, K2SO.
But, I could see him he's done a bunch of voice work. I could see him doing the voice of Herbie, which stands for Humanoid Experimental Robot B-Type Integrated Electronics, in case you're wondering.
Nerd!
Honestly,
Yes.
I just took Herbie as a name.
No.
And the character popped up in was it the 60s cartoon?
Yes, because they
It wasn't the 60s. The 60s cartoon was actually the actual Fantastic Four. It was the 70s cartoon that replaced the Human Torch with Herbie.
Because they were afraid kids
they were
would set
afraid
themselves on
somebody.
fire.
Yeah.
Which was actually a lie. It had to do more with the rights some kind of way. Was screwed up to where they couldn't do the Human Torch. That's the urban legend is they did that because they were scared kids were going to set them on fire. Nah, it was.
I would have involved the original Human Torch.
I think so.
Because that's the only way I can see the rights coming into it.
Yeah, the rights to that got screwy, and they didn't do that. That's the reason why they went, oh, no, kids will set themselves on. Because if that was the case, then they'd have had that same worry about Firestar.
Yeah.
That hell was on fire every week.
There's microwaves.
She was still on fire.
Yeah.
She was just glowing. But yeah, I could absolutely see him doing a quirky little robot voice.
See, you did a good job there, because at first when you're like, Herbie, I was like, who the hell wants to see Herbie? And then I started thinking, Herbie is the sound and acting like K2SO. All of a sudden I like it.
Well, see, if you go back and look, Iron Man had his little robotic droid.
The arm.
It makes sense.
Dummy.
So I thought, okay.
Dummy.
Yeah, dummy.
My greatest disappointment in the MCU, other than, Iron Man 3, and most of Endgame, and Thanos. But other than that, my greatest disappointment was that Dummy did not become Ultron. I wanted Dummy to become Ultron so bad.
I've taken all the damn abuse I'm taking from you.
That's it. That's it for humanity. I hate my
done with
father.
all you sons of bitches.
But you still get the Ultron thing of him hating his father that way.
Yeah, you're a man that can make anything, and what did you get me for my birthday? A damn cupcake. I can't eat a cupcake.
And
You
you
could
could
have
still
built
have him still
me
in love
anything.
with his mother if he had a thing for Pepper. It would have just worked.
And thus all humanity must die.
Yep.
you gave me a cupcake and I don't have a mouth or a stomach, you will all die for this.
Well, anyway, before we ramble on too much further, I guess we'll go ahead and wrap here. Much like with our X-Men one, I doubt Fox. Thank goodness they're not involved anymore. I doubt Marvel will pay any attention to this. But
Oh, they won't pay attention to this, but I am fairly confident that my pick for Reed Richardson, Invisible Woman, got a good chance at it. I'm just saying.
that's because you picked the
I could
ones
be
that are
wrong.
already rumored to be talking to. So
Well, yeah, I told you, I picked the low-hanging fruit. By God, somebody needed to.
And if you want to see the rest of my list for the side cast and the villains, let us know in the comments.
And neighbors and parents.
Willie
and like
Lumpkin.
random folks they know.
I did not cast Willie Lumpkin
How the hell did you not cast Willie
because you
Lumpkin?
can't leave.
Because you can't cast perfection, Todd.
Oh, and he didn't cast Paste Pot Pete, which is an honest to God Fantastic Four villain.
Hell, he didn't cast Doom. We're sitting here doing a fan casting of the Fantastic Four, and none
Because
of us
I don't-
cast Doom.
I don't want to see Doom's face in the first movie. I'd personally rather not see him until the third movie. They've done Doom into the ground.
Well, yeah, they had
but they haven't done him right. So there's that.
I would rather see the Mad Thinker or Red Ghost and his super apes before I see.
But yeah, the problem that you have with Doom is Fox had the same problem with Fantastic Four they had with X-Men, in that they put Doom in every fucking Fantastic Four, just like they put Magneto and Mystique in every fucking X-Men movie.
Yeah. And, it's like when you got a deep row of villains / antagonists that you can go to,
Yeah, pick somebody
go
new
to
for a
it. I
change.
mean, good. You ain't got to kill them. You can have them get captured. You can have them get away. I mean,
Whoa! Now you're upsetting the whole status quo there.
I don't care.
You talking crazy talk.
Hey, I cast Agatha Harkness and Wyatt Wingfoot and Frankie Ray. I've got some.
Agatha Harkness is gonna be in the
WandaVision.
Yeah,
Okay.
she's gonna be on WandaVision.
Who did they cast for it?
I don't remember. It's Agatha Harkness. I don't give a shit.
I picked Diana Rigg from Game of Thrones and the original Avengers, where she was Emma Peel.
Yeah, I knew it. The minute you said Diana Rigg, I was like, ooh, Bill. Man, she's old as dirt now, because the Avengers came out. I was a child. Shit, when the Avengers came out, hell, I don't think I was born yet.
Yeah, not the original one. It was 60s
Yeah.
something.
Yeah. That was a gleam in the old man's eye.
But yes, I think she would be a fine Agatha. But anyway, we're gonna wrap here before we go any further down this rabbit hole. Hope y'all enjoyed it. If you agreed with us, disagreed with us, have your own list. Want to see Danny's full list for some reason. He did all the UFOs too.
Before we completely sign off, we need to do just a bit of business. If you enjoy the Man with Two podcast, we on some new stuff. So if you're listening to us on YouTube, do the usual like, share, subscribe, comment, all that kind of thing. But we are also now on Spotify, RadioPublic.com, Google Podcast, BreakerAudio.com, and then, the usual at YouTube, Facebook, and the NerdEternal.com. So check us out. You can listen to us on the road. You can listen to us while you're exercising. Once the pandemic thing kicks back in, you get bored as hell. We've got damn near 100 episodes of sheer nerd brilliance for you to listen to.
And if you know folks that aren't nerds, but you just want to, have them become better nerds, that way you can have better conversation, share it to them and go, or sneak into your parents' thing and add it to their list so it pops up on their stuff.
Yeah, that's right. Get them in trouble. But I figured I'd share that because we on some new platforms.
So why not try to get people to stand on them?
Damn right.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that takes care of the new business. We'll go ahead and sign out here. I've been your host for the day, and every day, the experience that some call Jason, and with me has been
Token Phantom Breath, Turkey.
Coming to you live from the Facebook jail. Well, no. I should probably be out by Todd Father.
And CDL113, the droid you're looking for.
and we'll talk to y'all next time.
Peace.
Later.